G'day folks. Well, it is over. I have completed cycle one. I made it through to the end, but it was not without a fair degree of fudging and kind of making retroactive adjustments and kind of a lot of frustration. And the main feeling at the conclusion of this epic story is just a sense of relief that it's over. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel rewarding. Doesn't feel exciting. It just feels like a weight lifted off my shoulders that it's done. Things got really tough towards the end there. I kind of mentioned in my review, and I've mentioned in a couple of videos, how I'd been doing really well in the fights and haven't really been struggling with Titan losses, and that for most of the campaign I was at capacity. And then in the final week, as I'm making my way towards the final destination, there'll be no spoilers in this video. As I'm making my way towards the final destination, I had two really horrific battles on the same day. I'm not sure how this happened. So basically, that's right, it was through the adventure cards. So basically, whenever you move, you draw. I've lost track of them. You draw. You go through these exploration cards, and in the same draw, I drew an event which forced me to fight the big monster. This is not a spoiler. This is the Alpha Temenos, and he. No, sorry, was it him first? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I fought, or maybe in the Pursuer. I'm trying to think. Was it within a day? In another way, I had to fight these two back to back, and I lost 4 Titans against the Pursuer, who by this stage, he's always level 1, at least for the campaign I'm on, the cycle I'm on. He's always level 1, but I just needed to inflict, I think I need to inflict 8 wounds on him or something like that. Likewise, the Alpha, and I managed to, I got off to a good start, and this is often what happens. You get off to a good start, and then it's just hard to keep the momentum going. I will show you, because again, this is not a spoiler. This is the Pursuer battle. So you set up for the Pursuer, and based on the number of boxes you tick, this is how many wounds you have to do. And so pretty soon, you have to do a heap of wounds, 7, 8, 9 wounds. I can't remember where I was, around, I think I had 4 boxes ticked, which means 8 wounds. And I mean, he just becomes really tough to wound. If I can show you some of his wound cards, so body parts, that's his AI cards. Again, pretty minor spoilers. There's nothing unusual here, but he's just, these are level 1 cards. 5 to hit, 5 to hit, 4 to hit's not so bad. Once you get to level 2, it becomes a 7, an 8. Now for a level 2 body part, to be able to inflict 8 AT worth of damage, that's really hard. So let's look at this one. There are a few more 8s. There's a 6. There's another 8 at level 2. Another 6 and a 7. So it's tough to wound, really tough to wound. You really hope you get the level 1 cards, which are slightly easier. And I'm going to show you. So basically, I can inflict a couple of wounds, but in this last battle, I just couldn't get up to 8, and there's no retreat. Retreat is impossible here. So you got to fight him to the death, and to the death it was. And I lost 4 Titans in that battle. All right. Then I had to fight the Alpha Temenos, this big dude. And same again, based on the number of boxes ticked, you have to inflict wounds. And I got off to a good start against this thing. Where is he? He's under here. Got off to a good start. I think I inflicted 3 wounds. And then, wow. And then I think, what was he doing to me? How was he hurting me? I think it was inflicting despair tokens. And I just had, most of my Titans were at full health. And then suddenly I'm drawing these, was it AI cards that are just inflicting a heap of despair tokens on me? I had 1 or 2 that wasn't so bad. You know, gain 2 despair tokens, gain a despair token, gain a despair token. Yeah, there was something that like just gave me 4 despair tokens. I think it was a level 3 one. Wasn't that one? Gain 2 despair tokens. Wasn't that one? Wasn't that one? I can't remember which one it was. In any case, my despair just skyrocketed, and yeah, that was disastrous. And that's despite the fact, so I knew despair would be rising, and so I've got this special Hermes tatters, and I can use this to remove 2, oh, that's ambrosia tokens, that's not despair, that's different, sorry. I just couldn't get rid of the despair tokens basically quick enough, and they just ramped up so quick. Oh, and that was another team wipe. So I lost 8 titans in sort of 2 quick back-to-back battles, and that brought me down to, I was at 15, it brought me down, 15 minus 8, brought me down to 7, I think. No, I was going from 14, because it brought me down to 6. And really right on the edge of destruction. These are my heroes, so this is where things stand right at the end of the game. And I want to kind of run through the strategies I'm employing. So Olympia here in this Dreamwalker Titan, basic Titan. Smelted breastplate, very valuable. Chance to block 3 wounds coming in. The maze mace, okay, we roll 1 dice to hit. All right, so the idea with this is there's already some opening tokens. They're following up on some opening tokens, and then they're hopefully rolling to hit, and then rolling 2 black dice plus the red for the Titan, and hopefully, yeah, there's some break tokens to convert these to hits. But even then, okay, so the best result you can hope for on this is pretty much that. That's like the best result. That's 6 hits. Now, to inflict 8 wounds on level 2, you need you need 2 break tokens. All right? That's the very best odds. That's like equivalent to rolling 666. So 666. There's only one of these results. Anything less than that, you're not going to be able to. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard to get 8 hits on these dice. And that's my best. That's pretty much my best weapon. I do have, so the Naval Ram. So this is Odyssey 0. And he uses the Naval Ram, and his role, again, I've got him with his Hecaton Panoply armor, blocking up to 4 hits, potentially. But he's using the Naval Ram, and this is really good as well. It creates 2 break tokens. So the idea is that he can, not great at hitting, and only rolling a black and a red, and then a red dice. But the idea is that he helps create the break tokens for Olympia to follow up. Okay. Yeah. Then moving along, we have got Raz with her Dreamwalker. Sorry, these should not be here. And well, she's kind of the opener. She has the Manus Discus. This is the one that I found in that special location, and she has an auto break 1 opening. She attacks at range. She's got the Javelin, which can pull. So she's her role is to kind of manipulate the Titan. She had been using, so yes, she's in Ulysses at the moment, but she had been using the Maze Runner Titan, which gives her extra speed, and so she can get behind the Titan and get that +1 precision, power reroll. Probably not best with the ranged weapon. I've only recently given her the ranged weapon, and now I realise it's not a great combination to use these weapons with this ability. But that was a recent change. She had been using, I think she had been using the Maze Mace, and I did have Olympia with the ranged weapons. And then finally, I've got Leocules with the Rebound Hammer. Okay, so this is an auto break 1, power reroll, pushback, and he's rolling. So the great weapon, it rolls 2 blacks and a red, plus the red from the Titan, and he's very often at the forefront, so he's often getting up to level 5 pretty quickly to roll that much. So he's really a damage dealer with this Rebound hammer. And as you can see with the kind of accessories here, it's all about reflex and response. +2 movement or standing up while knocked down, advanced reflex move 2 spaces. Everyone's got stuff like this. And a reflex move 1 space, reflex move 1 space. They've all got it. Reflex move 1 space and reflex create extra openings as well. So they're kind of the idea is they can kind of chain together. I also have, so let me show you my abilities because this is pretty important as well. So these are the 3 abilities that I've been kind of taking into battle consistently. One is to let my Titans stand up. The ability to stand up is huge. It stops them being trampled, stops them being smashed into, crashed into rather. So that's really important. It's a saved me many times. Then this one, I like how it's got 3 charges. This lets me place 1 break token or 2 opening tokens in the Kratos pool. And I've been using this mainly for the 2 opening tokens. That really helps with these, because a lot of these weapons I have don't have positive to hit modifiers. So I need those break tokens to help me hit. And then I've got this, which lets me give my Titans +1 rage. And that helps me just escalate their rage. Most commonly, I'll use this at the very start of a battle. So they'll attack the Titan, then I'll increase their rage. And for most of them, it gives them that reroll of a power die. Yeah. And by that stage, then they can leave their own break tokens and things like that when they hit and wound. So I've been having a lot of success with these, not this exact loadout, but these types of loadouts for quite a while, up until that very end there with I just got smashed by the pursuer. And they weren't so much doing damage, it was all, actually you know what it was? I drew the disemboweled. I drew that 3 times in one battle. And you only need to get up to 7 wounds. So yes, they were ramping up, but I drew this 3 times in one battle. I think that was against the Alpha Temenos, and I think it may have been against the Hermian Pursuer, or vice versa. One defeat was due to these despair tokens, I think. Let me double check despair. It'll be in the Cycle 1 book. Yeah, 4+ tokens, you die. So that was really frustrating. And it's just hard to get rid of the despair tokens because they have cumulatively negative effects with 1 token -1 precision, with 2 tokens -3 precision. You can get rid of these tokens when you deal a wound, but with -3 precision, it's so much harder to hit. With 3 tokens, you cannot attack at all. So it then becomes really hard, impossible, basically. Yeah, really, really dangerous. They ramped up so fast. So, yeah, the campaign is over. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to talk too much about what happened in the campaign. As I said, I did have to fudge a bit. How did I do this? I undid some of the knowledge gains. So you've got Inward Odyssey. So I kind of undid some of those Odyssey gains. What else? Not much. And that was just kind of like making up for the mistakes I made in the first 10 days. I spoke about in the first video how I was focusing a lot on Inward Odyssey, and I just kind of undid that because that was a dumb rookie mistake. And I didn't want the mistakes that I made in those first 10 days of the campaign to basically undermine me. As it was, I probably didn't necessarily need to do that. I was running pretty close to the 80-day mark, and I just did to kind of speed things along, got to where I needed to go, and yeah, the campaign wrapped up. I didn't know the campaign would end there, but it did. Look, it's messy. I keep saying how messy this is, but I've got stuff all over the place. I don't want to show you the map, sorry, but there are just tiles and components everywhere. This is my stack of potential builds. So these are I've got all my technologies now, bar 1 or 2. So I can build most things. I don't necessarily have the components to build like this this thing, for example, I don't have the components. I don't have the components for that. These are the components that I have spare. So there's quite a lot there that I've built that I'm just, that I can, swap in and out. The Hermes tatters I've mentioned. The long speed mast was being used. Safety rope is good for the Hecaton. I did find this. This comes on a critical. I think it's on the Hecaton. So when you crit the Hecaton, it's a level 2 body part, and you wound it, you get the shield blade. But I only picked this up right at the end of the campaign, and it's interesting, but compared to most other weapons that I've got, it slows me down, it's cumbersome. Good versus the Hecaton, I guess. Safety rope again. Line tail whip I did use for a bit. This, I don't know why. Reach 2, 3 dice, 3 red, +1. Yeah, it became redundant quite quick. But then, like, comparing, so I spoke about this in the review. So comparing the potential things that I can build. Okay, I think I can build the maze hammer, and I think I have to exchange the maze. This is a component. The maze mace is a component in the maze hammer. You compare the difference. That's quite a step up. It does give me a +2 to hit, so that would be great, and it gives me an extra red dice. But then, okay, I'm confused by the text here. Critical miss. Do I only ignore wound responses on a critical miss, or is that a separate condition? If I wound, BP suppress. I don't know about that. But what I like about this is when I miss with the maze mace, I can place a break or opening token. Maze rake, I was tempted to build. It has this pull ability, reach 2, pull 2 dice with a +2, a red dice per hit, plus a bonus red dice. But by this stage, I really need black dice. The red dice just aren't enough to wound the Alpha Temenos and the Hermian Pursuer. The Wher Javelin I did build down here, because this can give me potentially 4 red dice with 2 successes, I think. I think it's 2 red dice per hit with the +1. With the ranged ability, the ability to pull, it is cumbersome and you do have to commit, but at 5+ wounds you get a break 2. So it does have that potential. Couldn't build that. I did consider this was probably going to be one of the next things I build, another ranged weapon. 2 dice, +3 to hit, and a black dice per hit. So that's potentially 2 black dice, easy to hit. The only downside is there's no real bonuses. If you get to 5 or more wounds, opening 1, break 1, which is great. But usually when I'm at this stage, I'm almost dead. There is this kind of... I find that the wound bonuses on these weapons are rarely triggered, right? I'm either at 0 wounds or dead. I feel like I go from 0 to 10 or 0 to dead really fast. I built that. Hecatomb is pretty cool. I won't go through all of them, but yeah, I just found that I wasn't really building all that much. I've still got my Naval Ram. You compare the Naval Ram with, the Wher Javelin. So this is a kind of end of campaign build. Potentially 4 red dice for hitting versus a black and a red. But this comes with auto break 2, a power reroll 1. And if you miss, you place 2 break tokens. So it's kind of like, this is so many levels of technology above this, but this is still, I'm still using this from, very early in the cycle and didn't feel the need to replace it. Okay. Oh, what else? Look, I won't go through all the technologies because that'll spoil some things, but this is my deck of technology cards. And kind of like I said, this many technologies, this many potential items, it's just too much. So a lot of them, I've tried to sort them out between these are my mainly structural technologies that give me effects, and the ones that I keep forgetting, I put at the front. So I keep forgetting that I could gain an Argo Fate to lower the adversary movement. That's really annoying because I kept forgetting about it, and that's why I kept fighting them at the end there because they kept catching up to me. Never, ever use that. Never re-rolled my adventure dice. Never used that at all. Never gained another type. Just forget about it. Used that a couple of times. Use that to great value, particularly at the end. Hope logic is very important towards the end of the campaign. yes, use that to save my campaign. If I didn't have that advanced crew expansion, I would have lost the campaign much earlier. Doing 2, yes, didn't use this enough as well. So this also could have saved me. Deeply embedded spies. So the game would have been over if I'd have used this more frequently. I gain a story progress token. This is what I needed. So had I used that more frequently, I would have probably ended the game 10 in-game days earlier, or thereabouts. So all these things that there's just a big deck of things to remember. And sorry, that's before I even get to the combat. So these are all the things I can build, right? All these cards and all the things on the cards, right? All these different items you can see are in this deck, right? That's what, as I get a new technology, I add the relevant cards to my deck and I sort through it. But as I said, I really felt the need. I wasn't building a lot, particularly in the latter half of the game. Like I said, that's an early build. That's an early build. The only two things that I did build towards the end was the Wher Javelin as a secondary weapon. All right, the Manus Discus is my primary here. That's a backup, and the Rebound Hammer, which I did build, which replaced. So where'd the Maze go? Did I just lose the Maze? All right, so Leocules was using the Maze for most of the game, and then I gave them the Rebound Hammer, and that was quite a late build. And then the armor, all right? So I was building armor, and I was really focusing on getting better armor. So yes, this Hecaton panoply armor and the smelted breastplate down here, these were great pieces of armor. But again, they didn't really save me. They're really brilliant. I mean, this can roll. Basically what you do is you roll up to 4 dice, and for every little icon you roll, that little triangle, it negates a wound. But as you can see, the fact that they are doing so much damage, they're doing the primordials are doing so much damage. They are just hitting with 9, 12, and then they're trampling or they're throwing you about. That it just becomes it becomes less about armor and more about reflex, response, and tactics. All right, so it's kind of like the idea of having a tank becomes redundant, and you've really got to move carefully. And I'm spending a lot of time. I think the very last battle was against a level 4 Labyrinthoros. Okay, so the level 4 Labyrinthoros, one of these things, and at level 4 they have maze sense, they have trample, they have maze builder, they have maze reactive armor, and they do 2 extra wounds per wound. So if it says wound 1, they actually wound 3. And I think I also misplayed this because I think it's 2 extra wounds for the entire card. I was playing this as 2 extra wounds per hit. Let me double check that. But they're harder to hit. So +1 wound per +1 armor per body part, and you do 2 escalation at the start as well. So I'm going to try and quickly check. Did I play it wrong with... I made it harder on myself, I think. I think what this means is 2 extra wounds for the card. I played it as 2 extra wounds per hit. I'll figure that out anyway. All right, so my next step is I have unlocked Cycle 2, and let me give you a bit of a sneak peek of... Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, but I've been invited to Sparta. And this is the Cycle 2 book. It is 135 pages of stories and maps. Okay, so here's a hint at some of the adventures, just the titles, not spoiling anything here. We've got our own little separate adventure books, the Inward Odyssey, the Dream of Pharos. I only triggered this twice, the Dream of Pharos. Is that correct? There's R&R Adventures, and then there's some special rules, so a whole new series of special rules. Oh boy. More, okay. 4 pages of special rules, 5 pages of special rules. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know if I will. I want to. I'm better at the game. I am better at battles. I feel like my tactics have been enhanced. It's just frustrating. There's so much to keep track of, and it's the need. So I've been looking online, and as I said, I did a bit of a survey to see how many people cheat or fudge the rules, and I found the surveys currently there's been 63 responses, and 2/3 of people are cheating in the game. Let me show you that. Here you go. So this is the website. This is just on Board Game Geek. Yeah, 42%, 42 votes, 2/3 of people are cheating in some. Oh, that's Kingdom Death. Sorry, that's Kingdom Death. That's Kingdom Death. 2/3 cheating in Kingdom Death, and in Aeon Trespass, more than 2/3, a little over 2/3, 79 votes, 54 to 25. And this is really telling for me. When more than 2/3 of people playing this game are cheating in some way, usually to make the game easier or because they've forgotten something. A lot of the comments are great. So people are saying, I forgot about this rule, so I will backtrack a little bit. I've done that a fair bit. It kind of suggests to me that the game is leaning a little too much on the punitive side. Most of the people cheating are doing so to make the game fun because they want to experience the story. All right, folks, I've ranted for a bit of enough. This is not meant to be a review, just a kind of reflection on the experience of Cycle 1. So thank you for watching. It remains to be seen if I continue with Cycle 2. I'm not sure. I'm going to think about it. But yeah, thanks all and take care.